All right, looks like we are live. Cool. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. Let us know in the chat if you all are here. I'm just checking to make sure that we are good to go. But yeah, let us know if you all are here. All right, looks like we are live. Yes, we are live because I'm talking on the actually too. Yeah, lag's about a few seconds, so no worries at all. But yeah, everybody, let us know. Right, let us know where y'all are tuning in the chat. Let us know. I got Edward here. He's going to be talking about some awesome different things. And we're starting this cool series today, every Wednesday, or we'll try to do every Wednesday, where we bring amazing guests like Edward, okay? Anyways, first off, we'll just get started. We'll just wait for everybody to come in. Everyone will come in slowly but surely. But first off, Edward, thanks so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. And I know it's Wednesday evening, and we're just super thankful, especially Wonsulting, to have you here for our Day in the Life series on YouTube on Wednesdays, where we basically exemplify stories like your own and show people what it means to be yourself, but also work at these big companies, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you, tell me more about you, about your story and how you got into Microsoft.
Yeah, so for me, we were just talking before this, it's that unconventional path. It wasn't linear. It was very different. I went to a Washington State University, but in Vancouver, Washington. So kind of like a branch of the main campus. So I was kind of born and raised in the Northwest. So Microsoft was always close to me. But I went to school for computer science, thinking that I was going to be a developer and that's where the money was. But I switched to an MIS major, like my third year. And I ended up working for the Microsoft stores for about 3.5 years while I was in college. It was like a part-time job. I was that guy when you came to the store. I would say, hey, how's it going? Anything I can help you find? But that role in those 3.5 years expanded to me going from that little salesperson who was, focused on sales to, running events for our products, for gaming, for community, for kids, for adults. And then pivoting to a business mindset where I was doing trainings for small businesses and showing them how to use Microsoft Teams and Power BI. And I think my love for technology came from that role. I was so close to our customers and so close to seeing the impact that Microsoft has in their lives. And that's why I switched majors, was because I was like, I love tech, but I really want to be in that business mindset of that strategic strategy and how we make these products and how do we engage customers with it the right way. Really, that customer journey was like a beautiful thing to me. So I switched majors, and then when I graduated college, I actually was in a process of interviewing for a pilot program. So when you're a Microsoft Store employee, you sometimes get unique opportunities to go corporate, funnels. But this funnels particularly was a pilot program for cloud marketing, and it's an on-ramp rotational program for MBA students. So it was strictly for MBA. But since I'd worked for the store for so long, I was able to apply to this program to the stores with just not even a bachelor's degree yet. I hadn't got my bachelor's yet. And I applied to the funnel, and a lot of my projects and things I did for innovation, things I did out of my way to just be curious about our technology, how active I was in my role outside of my role as well, really played a big key for me to stick out and get the position I have today, where I'm a product marketing manager within our cloud marketing, and really looking at how we market to our audiences and our different accounts in different markets and helping marketers really succeed at their job today. But it really didn't start, like you said. It took years of me doing a lot of dirty work, switching degrees, not really having any idea where I was going to go in my career. But the big thing I always did was just really work hard, do any extra steps I could, and as well just learn how to be innovative, creative, and have a story to tell. Storytelling is something that I think everyone here can really relate to. Is we all have our own stories. We all have our own ways that we face life and adversity, but it's on to us to show that to others, to really amplify who we are as a person and make us desirable, make us be someone that I need you on my team. I need someone like you who thinks like you, who faces problems like you. And that's something I felt like, I failed a few times, so it's not, but after time I got better at that. And that's really what got me here today.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing story. And everybody who's here, tell us more about your story. What are you trying to get into? Put into the comments and let us know. So that's an amazing story, Edward. Very inspirational and very inspiring. So Love to hear that. And I know that you come from a first generation background. Does anybody here also come from first gen? If you do, put it into the comments if you do. But what does it mean to you being a first generation and breaking into the tech industry?
Yeah, for me, it was always a dream of mine. My family's unique because I have a mother who brought me into this country from Peru when I was very young. We immigrated here, and I have a stepfather who kind of raised me to like have this mindset of education. And I used to read a book. It was like Sundays with Maury, and it had a chapter about the parent lottery, where you have like two sides of the coin. And my mother was that culture for me, the family, love and passion, and being Latino and embracing it. And then my father was the other side of the coin, was like the opportunity of education, technology, learning, be obsessive about learning. And being a first generation student, being a part of my family to kind of start the foundation in tech. I was talking to my girlfriend about this. Me and her are into tech right now. She works for HP, and our family didn't have that connection into tech. We didn't have someone we could go to as a mentor or a family friend who was like, hey, let me tell you how the tech world's like. Let me, show you what a UX is, or, UX research or marketing or fintech. Like, let me show you there's more to tech than just IT, or computer science. Like, there's non-tech stuff. That's still tech though. And I'm excited to be that representative for my family, and for others too, because there's people in the Latin community who want to be that pillar for the family, who want to start that chain of education and success, and just feeling like they're impacting the world right. So I'm excited for that part of my life, because I think I made to a point where I've shown the labor, and I want to share that, and I want to hopefully my brother, my sister go to college, like they'll have a better experience and they'll have a more direction for themselves where they want to go.
I love that, man. That's amazing. An amazing story. So basically 3.5 years, you didn't have those connections, but you worked at Microsoft 3.5 years in the store. Then you went to becoming a product marketing manager. And yeah, like you said before, you had no connections. That is incredible how you were able to build that connection space just with your own networking. And so that actually leads to my next question. Like, because people always talk about product marketing. I don't even know what it is exactly myself. Yeah. So, I'd love to learn more about like, what does a product marketing manager do?
Yeah.
And also, like, what do you do in your core roles? And are you involved with anything else at Microsoft?
Yeah, I think the product marketing manager role is really unique, maybe at Microsoft specifically, because when I was applying for the role, I tried to reach out to like PMMs who were in Microsoft and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they all told me the same thing, like, yeah, we're product marketing manager, but we do different stuff. Like, it really depends on your team. But I think at the end of the day, what a product marketing manager is trying to find ways to bring a product to the audience. What is the best way to streamline a product to the right people in the best way? And that's really what our role is. And you can do that in different ways, right? You can do that with, a messaging position framework where you're understanding your competition. What is your product? How is it different? What is our features that we do have that amplify? Like, you can do it that way, or you can also do it with data and trends, and how is our marketing being impacted in the values and things like that as well. And for me specifically, the fun part is I'm with the data side. So I'm in a rotational program. So right now I'm in my first project, my first rotation, and the cool stuff I get to do is I get to, see how our customers are engaging with what type of content or what type of events or emails or however they are across the world, which is incredible. And I can really provide insights based on all that data and clean it up and make it tell a story and make it be like, here's the accounts that you have, here's what they're doing, here's what's going well, here's what's not going well, here's here's the best content that we're providing in this region. This content's trending down, we should probably look at pivoting something else. So it's able to give marketers across the world the best insights to impact their customers and help our customers succeed and use our technology right and learn quickly and adapt quickly to this change with the pandemic as well. So that's kind of what a PMM really does. And especially my role, like I said, the core of my role is taking data and looking at it in a different way and trying to tell that story correctly that derives insights.
Driving insights and telling that story. Okay, makes sense. Cool. And then what else are you involved with at Microsoft? Are you involved with any other organizations?
Yeah. So when I was in the stores, it was hard to be involved with like the bigger stuff because you're kind of like the store was in a store and Microsoft with Microsoft, and there were some things where it was just kind of intimidating to go up there in that higher world. But being here, it's been kind of cool because we have a thing called Ola. It's our employee resource group.
We spoke there.
Part of it. And Ola is super like cool. It's great because being Latino, especially being Latino in the Northwest and where I was living, I didn't have a lot of Latin friends. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of my friends were white or predominantly white in my area, and that was it was fine, but it always unfortunate to me I didn't have a way to connect with people who were like me from South America, who went through the same adversities I did. And a really cool thing is we had two of people our age create a group, a part of Ola. It's called like Ola Youth, and it's all of Ola members. And we're trying to make this group where it's we're young, we're new to the company, we want to learn from each other, and it's different people from software engineers to product managers, and it's been an exciting thing to see because for me being in this pandemic and being new to this corporate world, I want to meet people who are going through what I'm going through. And I've been interacting with that group a lot and really excited to see where that grows and goes to. And I love volunteering a lot with just, the career stuff too. And, I told you before, I still feel like to this day, I came through a funnel that was so tight and so small, and I slipped through with like a little nail just to get through the right holes. And I got to where I was, and I'm proud of it. I'm excited. I'm happy. But I also know like there's people out there who are in the same boat I was, who are trying to get through these tight holes and trying to find their place in this world. And if I can help in some way, that's kind of like my way of giving back to the way I got in was like, hey, you got in, but don't just, settle and be like, hey, I got in. Bring people with you. Bring people who deserve to be here too. Because I was like, I'm no different than someone like 3 months ago. I was working at a part-time retail store without a degree yet. Like I was not anything that was special. I didn't have internships because I couldn't, because I worked for the store. I couldn't try out and like I didn't have a community, but things can change fast if you really want to, if you really work hard, and if you meet the right people. Like I had a mentor actually. So I got a mentor after last fall. So last fall, there's a program called Microsoft Aspire, which is like for undergrads. And there was a funnel for the stores again, and I was the only one to get through to a sales position in Washington, D.C. And I got really close to my dream. Like I was like, I'm gonna work for Microsoft. I'm gonna have this career. It's like so close, and I didn't get it. And I was really like heartbroken because it was almost like this was my one chance. Like this was the only chance I'm gonna get. Like if it didn't work, then I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna have to find another company. But I really love this company. But after that, I found a mentor who worked for LinkedIn. His name's Kai, and he was super great. And he came from a similar background as me, where it was like he went to a smaller school, he did consulting, he made like his own app, he applied for Google, I think, he didn't get it, and he applied for LinkedIn, he did get it. And it was unique because like me and him could talk, and he could sense like he gave me confidence. That was the cool thing. He gave me confidence. He goes, Edward, like you're great. Like your story's amazing. You're learning what you're doing, what you're doing for the store is awesome. Like you are someone who can be up there. Don't overlook yourself. Don't that confidence is huge. When someone can tell you, someone who made it there can tell you, I think you're great. You're gonna get there. Someone's gonna find you. And that was huge for me because then I was like, you're right. I was in that group of candidates who went to big schools, who were, Forbes under 25 or whatever. Like these are like successful people. And I was like, wow, I'm in that crowd. I didn't get picked, but I was like in that like bunch. And for someone like me, who in my past I never considered myself, anything special, anything smart or genius, nothing. That was an opportunity for me to realize, like, even if I'm a 1 out of 500 chance, I need to shoot my shot. I got like MJ. I gotta shoot my shot. If I don't shoot it,
right there.
Yeah. So I did stuff. I connected with him. We collaborated. I did projects. I did projects that had meaning behind them, that were actually like impacting my store and impacting the people around me. Like I failed and I would collaborate, and I was like doing stuff I love. And then when this cloud marketing thing came up, I applied, I interviewed, and it felt perfect for me. Like it felt right. Like it felt like something like all my stories and all the stuff I had been doing, they just aligned so well with the job. Like when I went into the final interview, I was talking to my fan. I was like, I'm not scared of this interview. And it was like a panel interview with directors of all of our cloud marketing. Like, it was not an interview that was easy. But I was like, I really think I deserve something like this because I've worked so hard. Like, everything I've done, like, I think this is something I can do. And if I don't get chosen, it's fine. But like, I think that I'm perfect for this. And that's the thing is, like, I got to the point where I knew my story so well, where I was interviewing with one of my interviewers, who's actually my experience manager now, super cool guy. And like halfway through, he just told me like, hey, like, we don't have to talk about this stuff anymore. He's like, I love your story. I love what you are. I love what you've been building. I love your insights. He's like, I want to pitch you like my department. So when you come in for your experience, we get you in our department. And that was an eye opener for me, because it was like, that's my superpower, is telling my story. That my whole life, where I felt like I didn't have a power or a special ability, or I wasn't a coder, I wasn't a builder, I wasn't a musician, I wasn't super athletic or nothing like that. I'm a storyteller. And that was a powerful moment for me to like sit back and be like, okay, I'm not scared to like share my story to people anymore.
Wow. That's incredible. I love that. I love that. And that's why it's very important to tell your story, right? Especially in your career. And like you said before, maybe there's a 1 out of 500 chance, but you might be that one person, right? At the end of the day. So you just got to shoot your shot. If people are inspired, put hashtag inspired in the chat. I want to see all the inspiration coming in, because I'm inspired myself. Someone said, Felicidad, primo. So someone said, awesome. And actually, our YouTube lead actually is asking, tell us more about Ola. You want to talk a little bit more about Ola?
Yeah, so Ola's like huge. So Ola's like, they have different chapters in different cities. So we have one in Redmond, we have one in SoCal, we have one in Chicago. And really, they're meant to be there for you if you're looking for ways to connect with your community of Latinx. You know, Hispanic community, you know, they do events. You know, one that was really amazing recently was for our Hispanic Heritage Month, is we had an artist come in and described how art and, you know, the history of art of like, you know, our culture and, you know, mestizos, and, you know, she's actually Peruvian. She talked about like racism in other countries of Latin culture. And you get to learn more about just who you are. You know, that's one thing for me is growing up, I didn't really connect with my Latin roots very well. I honestly, there was a point when I was younger where I kind of didn't like being Latino, because there wasn't people like me around there. But like, it's groups like Ola, where maybe if you didn't grow up in an environment that was very Latin-based, that you have people around you who are Latin-based, who can show you, you can connect with and learn from. Like, there's mentorship in there too. You can reach out to people who are looking for roles or, you know, position, or even events that will just help you connect more with your culture, which is really great, because I know for like our youth Ola group, we had like Bad Bunny on, and we were doing Jeopardy, and it was like a fun little like hour of just like getting away from work and kind of being like, you know, it's a fiesta.
Right.
So I mean, and Microsoft's great because they have Ola, they have, you know, other ERGs as well. They do a lot. They do a lot to provide you with the space, especially with what's going on right now, to really talk about diversity and inclusion, to give people a voice. Even our SLT, so our senior leadership team, they do conversations and calls and like podcasts sometimes. We actually, the CVP for marketing, Chris Capacella, he does like a call every like month that just has someone he connects with in the community and talks about their story and really speaks about how them as a person of color or a person of situation is impacted through all this and their journey.
Wow, that is awesome. And that's why it's very important, everybody, when you join these different companies, to join the communities, join the employee resource groups. They're so important. Like, I was very active when I was at Google and the Filipino one, and then also Ola too as well. So definitely love that. And Veronica said, I totally connect with, not connected to your Latino heritage. I love that you connected with it. Awesome.
Yeah. One little thing too. So when I was 18, I was supposed to go to college, but because of some immigration stuff, I had to forego my whole first year of college. I lost like some scholarships. It was really bad. But the cool thing, and this is a really pivotal point in my life, is I went to Peru for 2 months and I lived with my family in Peru. And I got a chance to like live my culture for the first time in my life and like see my nephews, see my cousins, and just really, the word's love. It's the love of my family for the first time in my life. And I came back like with a sense of just, my plan is never gonna work out. I'm not gonna graduate at 22. I might graduate at 30, but I'm
Mhm.
going to get my degree. I'm going to find my place in this world because I owe it to my family back there who's.
Mhm.
That was like the big thing in my life that like really switched it's a flick on my head. Just was like, even when like the things happen really bad in my life, I'm still blessed to just be in the situation I am.
Love that. Hey, count your blessings, and hey, you're definitely an underdog turned winner. So really love to hear that, and love to hear that story. And I was going to tell you more. I mean, it seems like you have amazing values and an amazing mindset too as well. Could you tell us more about like how important? And I know a lot of people have different perspectives on companies, but like what's important to you in regards to like the culture and values when you're joining a company?
Yeah, that's important. When I hear like other companies, and I think unfortunately, as I didn't have a chance to like really go out in the field and apply to other companies. I applied to Microsoft and it worked out really well, and that's a company I've been with. But one thing I really love about this specific culture is that they don't really want you to be a know-it-all. Like
Mm-hmm.
they want you to be someone who is obsessed with learning and is the key word they use is a growth mindset, right? We want you to fail and really learn from your failures. Like your failures should be more important to you than your wins because that's where you grow the most. And as I went through my career, I understood that. Like I failed so many times, or life had failed me so many times. Um, and when I look at other companies, if I was going to go on for a role, I want a company that embodies that embodies me as a person. I think when we're looking for jobs, we just want to get a job, and that's fine. We're in an economy and the pandemic, but don't single yourself out to go somewhere where you can't be your true self, where you can't give everything you have, because yes, a job's a job, but a job is also a big part of who you are, and that's important to realize every day. Is you want to be somewhere that even when you have flaws, they want you to have flaws. They want you to embrace them and they want you to learn from it. Or do you want someone that expects you to be perfect every day, to never mess up, and you have to be on your toes? That doesn't sound like a good work environment to me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching myself in here, but Microsoft, my whole life, even at the stores, it was all about learning and learning and learning and learning. And you're never going to know everything. You're going to ask a lot of questions, but everyone's going to want to help you. And really, at the end of the day, customer obsession is like the best thing to have, because even at this role now, like I'm impacting like thousands, millions of people with what I'm doing for our marketers. Like I might not be selling you a Surface anymore. I might not be selling you an Xbox controller. What I'm doing is I'm helping that small business maybe that's trying to get into Azure and save money in their data and maybe help their family or their business or their customers out. That's all a part. It's all streams down line. It all goes down the stream somehow. And that's something that I've been able to kind of see myself.
Wow, awesome. That's all. Those are awesome values, and I hope everybody here listens to those values and hold it true to you too. And I was going to ask you my last question before we go to like a quick Q&A is a lot of people are trying to break into Microsoft, right? Everybody in the chat, put if you want to break into Microsoft by putting hashtag Microsoft. But what advice would you have for those who are trying to break into the tech industry with a company like Microsoft?
Yeah, I think my best advice is, hard skills are fine. If you're going for a software engineering role, great. Know a language really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most important thing is really understand how you use your soft skills to really, empower others. How you've used, your learnings to better yourself and better the people around you. Build with intent and purpose. Don't build just to build because you want to get an internship or a job. That's really important for me, is have these stories that you can tell to an interviewer or someone you network, that when they have a conversation with you, they know your resume. Microsoft knows your resume. If you have the hard skills, great, but when it really comes down to is they're hiring you as a person,
Mm-hmm.
and they want the authentic self of you, and the best way you can show that is through examples of your wins, your losses, your lessons, and your background, and really align that story really well. Align it the best way you can. Bring passion, bring energy. Microsoft's a company that wants people who bring a lot of energy and excitement and new ways of thinking. So hard skills are great, but those soft skills, don't overlook them, because that's what's going to get you through the door.
Awesome. So being authentic, having those soft skills. It's not always about hard skills, but it's also just you being you to get into these companies, right? Not having a fake, a fake self, but just being real and authentic. So I love those answers. That's literally how you get into a lot of these different companies, because if you show your story and you share it, a lot of people correlate directly with it. So those are great answers. I really appreciate all of those answers. Does anybody have any questions in the comments? I know it lags a little bit. If not, totally fine. But does anybody have any questions for Edward? I know Edward gave some amazing words of wisdom today in regards to how you can break into Microsoft, his own story coming from a first generation background, having no connections at all before being able to break into the company. And he was working in retail for 3.5 years at Microsoft before being able to break in. So a little recap of everything that he talked about is tell your story, right? Be your authentic self. Make sure your values correlate directly with the company that you are trying to get into. And last but not least, y'all, when you know what y'all should do, connect with Edward on LinkedIn. I know he's gotten a lot of connection requests, etc. So definitely send him an ad if you can. Send a personalized invite. Say you met him through the Wonsulting community. We actually had one question right here, which would probably answer this one question. And it's your favorite resources for developing your soft skills.
It's a good question. I think, going back to what I said, your soft skills will get developed the more you interact with like others. The way you build, I think, I saw you guys doing like the projects, the Wonsulting projects like that. Like when you're building those things, like think about the way you're building that. Are you talking to others? How are you talking? How are you resolving, difficulty? When the project didn't go the way you thought it was, what did you do to learn from that? Because those are all really important skills. I was one really big one right now is all of you who are interacting with each other and connecting with each other through LinkedIn. We're in this virtual space. We're working from home. Like that's an important soft skill, is being able to communicate not in person. And we forget about that because we take advantage of our technology. But those are soft skills that I think it's not developing, it's being aware of them. Because we're always developing soft skills. But sometimes we forget about them because they're just common sense to us almost. And we sometimes overlook them. But yeah, I think just, interacting with a lot of people, building with purpose. If you're in an internship, you're making something, really break it down. Really, don't just think, start to finish. Think, okay, start, I messed up. How did I learn from it? Okay, what I do better? Who did I collaborate with? What did I learn from them? Like all that, you need to really take that into account and don't just feed through your experiences. Really understand what you're taking away from them.
Definitely. Understanding your experience is extremely important. So thanks for that answer. I actually had one more question. Sorry. Here, Akshay. He said, how do you break into the tech with a non-tech background? Maybe some quick advice on that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think for me, it's really connecting in some way with people who have been in that same route. Because not having being non-tech is fine. I think I have someone in my program who was in pharmacy. And she's now doing marketing for cloud. So it's really, I think it's about, making the decision to, be curious about what's out there, what's accessible for you, using your resources, using your community, and asking the right questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question, and connect with someone like myself or your peers, and see like what you can do. Because, you don't have to be, a tech, like you can be doing a project with a group of people that maybe helping someone, and maybe someone else doing the tech stuff, the building the code, but maybe you have to be the person who understands it and can read it and can tell the message trying to get across. Being non-tech, you got to understand some of the tech. You don't have to be an expert though. You want to understand it in a way that you can take it and mold it into your own creation to be able to give it to the right people the right way. That's what non-tech people do in tech. Is we're kind of we take all this stuff and we kind of read it and we're like, okay, explain to me what you're trying to get from this. We take the explanation, we take the feature, we take the requirements. Okay, now let me get insights from the people who are actually going to use it, and let me make something actually usable and resourceful. I didn't have the code, I didn't have to use SQL, I didn't have to do anything crazy. All I'm doing is learning how to tell that story correctly. So if you're trying to break into with a non-tech background to tech, you really you need to know somewhat about what they're doing, but just learn the language. But don't be Be curious. Learn what Azure is. Learn what cloud computing is. You don't need a degree in it, but learn what it is. Have conversations about it. Because at the end of the day, we need people out there who can understand the customers, understand how to strategize for it, understand how to bring it across and build it up. And it's not all about the actual tech part of it. It's actually like probably less than half of it.
Right. Okay. So learn those different skills and cater it towards you, right? You don't have to be an expert. You can just, at the end of the day, that's what I tell people all the time. Literally take a class or learn from someone, and at the end of the day, you can gain some skills which could be applicable, especially for that role. So love that. Awesome. Okay. Well, Edward, again, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. And if y'all appreciate Edward, definitely add him on LinkedIn. Send him a personalized invite, saying you met him here at Wonsulting on our Day in the Life series. And yeah, thanks again for being here, Edward. You're the man. So thanks, Allison, for connecting us.
Thank you so much. And yeah, thanks for having me. And anything I can do to support anyone, please just let me know. It's a pandemic. I got a lot of free time.
Awesome. All right, Edward, sounds good. I'll end the broadcast, and thanks again.
Yeah.